So welcome everybody to the June 2019 TELedvisors webinar. We've got a fantastic session for you today. So I'm just going to introduce our first presenter, Jaime Donally. Thank you so much for joining us. I think you're on the west coast of the US or perhaps driving. I'll just introduce your bio and then we'll share your presentation. Jaime Donally is a passionate technology enthusiast. She began her career as a math teacher and later moved into instructional technology. Her desire to build relationships have brought about opportunities to collaborate with students and educators around the world. She provides staff development and training on immersive technology as an EdTech consultant. Her latest adventures include the launch of Global Maker Day and the #ARVR in EDU community. She works as an author and speaker to provide practical use of augmented and virtual reality. There's more resources on the website arvrinEDU.com. Thank you very much, Jaime. I'll just bring up your slides here. Unless you wanted to share your, no, you won't be sharing your screen. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Great, over to you.
Wonderful. I'm excited to join tonight. If you are following AEST, which is an international technology conference, it just ended today. So we had a lot of people overseas joining in, and it was a great conference. And I'm actually leaving the conference and heading down the coast here on the East Coast of the US. And so I am in my vehicle, and I thank you for the opportunity to share. Lots of great stuff here. The concept of experience to creation is a huge topic in any technology, but definitely in augmented virtual mixed reality. So I'm going to go through a couple of examples, and if you do want to follow me, you can certainly follow me on, there we go. You can certainly, oh, that doesn't look the same as on my end, so hopefully these turn out okay for you.
They look fine.
Okay, great. You can follow me on social media channels. If you spell my name correctly, you should be able to find me pretty well. I'm also, again, at ARVRnedu.com on my website. I'd be happy to stay connected and talk in the future. All right. I don't really have control of my slides, Wendy, so I apologize if this is getting delayed. All right, so we're going to start off with experiences, and I think oftentimes what happens is people feel like they have to only create, and that's not necessarily true. There's times where we need to have experiences, but there's also times we need to have creation opportunities. So for our students, we want to vary those activities, but we want to make sure we don't only get stuck in experiences. So I'm going to show you a few examples of experiences, and as we go through, you can then take that and run with that and see exactly which one fits the needs of your students for your activities. In this case, you're going to see an example of my daughter who is wearing a Curoscope shirt, and hopefully that video will populate for us.
So the videos I'm sharing in the chat window if people would like to play them in a different window.
Perfect. Thank you, Wendy. So in this video, as you watch that, you can see my daughter Hannah, who is taking this Curoscope shirt, and when you view it in augmented reality, that shirt comes to life within the Virtuality app. And all of the body systems that show up, you can go into those body systems, such as going into the digestive tract, you can go into the heart, and they've just released something new where you can actually scan your finger, pick up your heart rate, and automatically detect your heart rate, and then populate that into the shirt. And I think all of those learning opportunities, while it's not created by a student, it is something that experiential will help them make those connections in their learning. On this next slide, I am talking to you about an app called Catchy Words AR. And this one is really great because it's going to give you a chance to see the augmented reality that you can do in your space using some AR Kit apps. This is a new feature that was released a few years ago on the Apple side. An AR Core would be that comparable on the Google side. And so as people are going in and exploring letters and understanding concepts within possibly spelling or vocabulary, they have a chance then to go out and kind of explore those letters, put them in boxes below, similar to the concept of hangman, but it's actually in three-dimensional. So you can go walk around and explore. My youngest daughter, Eliana, had a chance to really put this into action as she has dyslexia, and for her to really make those connections in her spelling required her to get up and move, and the turned letters really pushed her brain, and by learning in this way, it forced her brain to retain that information and keep it for the long term so that she was able to remember the spelling of the words. So the last one I'm going to show you on the experience side is an app called Wonderscope. And this one's fantastic because it really brings the level of just experiencing something to interactions. And it's similar to the concept of, storytelling that we'll see typically. You can play and engage in stories, but most of the time you're just listening or you're just watching the story. But in this augmented reality experience, students are able to actually be part of the story. You have to read commands inside of the story in order to progress it. So the players and the characters in the story will actually pause until you read what's at the bottom. So this really engages even our resistant and maybe those readers that are really either new readers or readers that are not confident in their abilities. This will really engage them and want them to want to read so that they can grow and learn, and they want to be part of the story. They want to progress the story. Now moving over to more of the creation aspect. So this will give our students a chance to really move from just seeing a developer tool that has already been created to more where they can engage and create products themselves. So some of those features might be creating their own 360 images, and they can do that for free using Google Street View, which has been around for quite some time. And as it's come out and as it's developed, it has only gotten better, which is great. They can use their mobile device or tablet, and they can then go in and create their own 360s. This is an important part because oftentimes having 360 images is quite expensive. It's copyright infringement. So if students want to then use 360 images, it's very difficult to go find other work that is for free. So this is a great opportunity for them to be the content creators. If they are interested in getting a 360 camera, I use the Insta-One 360, and I choose to use this one because I like to live stream in 360. This gives me an opportunity to immediately upload my 360 content, and I can take video and images and be in 360 live on social media like Periscope that live streams, and YouTube Live, and even Facebook Live. So all of those tools are easily available when I plug it into my phone. Let's see. Great. Another tool that you're going to see here, I'm going to go back one here. Another tool you're going to see is going from those 360s into tools like Figment AR that you'll see in the middle, as well as looking at another app called RoundMe to make tours. So on the next page, I'm going to show you a little bit of what that looks like. This is a 360 tour that I had created from a previous conference in Florida. And I was able to add informational hotspots. I can add other 360s that will teleport you from one to the next. And one of the best features about RoundMe is the fact that you can add directional sound. Makes it very easy, super focused, and allow your students to be part of the tour. They can be the tour guides, and you can have directional sound labeled all around. So as they're turning around, they're actually seeing the content and hearing that content. And RoundMe is fantastic with share tours. You can even grab the embed code and upload it into your teacher page. And it is free for up to 15 per month. The next one I'm going to show you is Tour Creator. This came out by Google not too long ago. This one's great if you don't have your own 360 images. You can actually use Google Maps, and it will pull from all of those images that have already been created, and then you can create your tours from that. You can also add informational hotspot, and while you can add sound, unfortunately is not directional sound, but you can still add an ambient sound in the background or a tour guide to be able to guide along the way. Looking at the next one that I had showed you a few slides back, this is Figment AR. And in Figment AR, it's created by a company that allows you to go in and take your 360 images and create augmented reality portals in your space. Meaning, while I'm looking through my camera, I now see a window in my space that I can walk through with my mobile device. And when I walk through it, now I'm immersed into a 360 image. This is a great tool to allow your students in to take their 360s and apply that is much more realistic to walk through, as opposed to putting on headsets and having to take them off and put them back on for the 60s in virtual reality. You'll also see opportunities to create on AR portals that you'll see here in the middle, as well as uploading them in Coastbase, which is a company based in Germany. And they have done some great creation for the past few years on the virtual reality side. For the past year, they've also embraced the concept of having content built for augmented reality. So taking your 360s now and applying them to these other tools, where it's really important is making sure you have it loaded on your own personal device. You could take these 360s and upload them into AR portals by TeleportMe, and you can essentially be like Dr. Strange and walk into these portals in your spaces. In addition, I also see opportunities to create 3D content and augmented reality using tools like 3D Bear. And this company right now, the code that I've listed down at the bottom is actually only available for a few more hours. This will give you a 90-day trial to test out 3D Bear, use it in your classes, and actually have it for the next 90 days. So it gives you a great resource. There's tons of lesson plans, extensive lesson plans to bring those into your classroom, as well as standards attached, and lots of great opportunities for your students to create. And if you're into 3D printing at all, they also have an interaction and engagement in Thingiverse. So pull over those 3D content from anything in Thingiverse that then you can view in augmented reality. I also have an Oculus Quest that came out by Oculus a few weeks ago, and it is a great standalone virtual reality headset for $399 US, and you have an opportunity to actually walk around your space. You set up a guardian to establish where it's safe, and when you walk out of that guardian, you're set. Those 4 cameras on the front-facing part of the headset actually turn on and notify when you're able to see through the camera. And when you back into the guardian, you're back in virtual reality. It helps you actually play in a safe environment and not be tied to a heavy-duty computer with a high graphics card, or have cords wrapped from your headset to a computer. So it is a great price, an extremely amazing experience, and it also has some creation tools in it as well, such as Google Tilt Brush. So if you're interested in creating 3D content and pushing that out to Google Poly, this is a great opportunity to get started at an affordable price. Moteboat is a great one for you to test out some augmented reality. You can pull in from the library, and you can in addition to that, it actually connects with tools like Siri, where you can actually have voice commands, and you can audibly describe what you want your characters to do, and as soon as you do, your characters actually respond to your command. So it's an amazing tool to actually see what kind of things are coded into this app, and how they're using some of the artificial intelligence to pull that into to see what is possible in this space. That also is a free tool. Looking at another incredibly robust tool that is maybe a little bit more of a learning curve, this is Metaverse. And Metaverse allows you to create a ton of augmented reality tools, such as creating questions built in an AR, having 3D content exposed in your space, having portals that you're building yourself, virtual reality tours, scavenger hunts, using artificial intelligence and pulling in Google Site. And so all of these pieces are all embedded into Metaverse, completely free platform. And it is an incredible platform that may take a little bit of a learning curve, although they have a ton of tutorials to help support you along the way. And then as we're kind of closing down, Coastbase, again, I mentioned it earlier. Right now, and this is a little bit difficult to see, unfortunately, with the slide here, but you can see my code is COSJAIMEDO. If you're interested in trying out Coastbases and creating it on your own, you have a chance to have a 30-day trial with 100 seats for your students, as well as and you can then go in and create content for the merge view. Yeah. Sorry, Wendy, did you have something to say?
That's okay, Jamie. Just dropped out for a second, but we can hear you now.
Oh, perfect. I apologize. Yeah, so Coastbases and Merge have partnered up to allow you to create for the Merge queue. And you can see here that you have a chance to try out the new EDU platform for Merge, as well as creating content for your Merge cube in this video that will be added for you. You'll be able to see how I created some holidays, some typical holidays that you'll see here in the US, and I added that around my Merge cube when I was beta testing. And to end again, ARVR and edu.com is where I store all of my resources. Everything I covered is also available in my blog, and I would love for you to subscribe. Actually, through today, for me here in the States, I'm actually sending out all of my resources that I used and covered at the ISTE event. And if you are interested in also getting those resources, if you subscribe to me today, then you'll also have access to that and can pull from that as well. Thank you again so much. If you're interested in more resources, Learning Transported is a book that came out last year. I'm actually working on book 2 right now for the more of the app smashing and personalization, and it really gives you the foundation to get started with AR and VR. And again, you can find me at arvrandedu.com. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Jamie. That was a fantastic presentation. If people could give a round of applause in the chat window, although Jamie may not be able to see the chat, but that was so rich in sharing the links that you've got, the resources that you've got, and the knowledge. And just a shout out to Twitter in enabling us to connect. And I've been watching your work through Twitter for a while and some other platforms. So it's really so great that you could share it today. And I think there was only a few questions and most of them were covered as we went along. Was there any other questions, Kate?
I didn't see any. I think I was the only one posting any. So does anybody else have any quick questions? Feel free to take the mic if you have a question, use the mic, or type in the chat.
So there was a question, Jamie, would the slides be available?
That's a great question. I'd be happy to share out these slides. If you could just keep it on a personal level, that would be fantastic, or to use it in your classroom. I typically don't share my slides because unfortunately they've shown up in other people's presentations before, but I would be happy to share it with this community. If you can use it on that personal basis, I'd be happy to share it out with you.
Great, thank you. So we can share it on the Moodle site. If people are signed up to the Moodle site, you will be able to access these presentations, and the session was recorded. And with the recording, I will put in the links to all the videos. It was just the Merge Cube video, Jamie, that wasn't shared, so maybe we can hook up later and get that link. But all the other links will be available with the recording on YouTube. All right.
Sorry,
yep.
Wendy. There's just a question from Andrew, and also Cheryl's raised her hand. Andrew asked if Jamie did any work in the tertiary education space, as we know they were mostly, say, primary and secondary based examples.
Absolutely. So some of the examples that you're going to find, especially on the uses of the creation tools like 3D Bear, and what you also see similarly with Coastbase is that students are really owning their learning. They're taking the storytelling and applying that instead of reports. They're taking the concepts of redesigning their spaces. They're actually recreating historical artifacts and content from history. And so they're using these tools to really describe their knowledge as opposed to writing it down, solely writing it down. So it's giving our students the expression of their content in a way that really hasn't been available before. It's certainly going to hit home for them on the awe factor, but it's also giving them opportunity that they would never have otherwise, like walking on the moon, that we could not bring them to. So sometimes limitations in funding, but oftentimes it could be where we're located in the world. So giving our students the opportunity to create this content, regardless of where we're at, regardless of our funding, and really regardless even of our skill level, these tools are really available for all classrooms.
Great, thank you so much.